You're at work, you're doing your thing, you are the boss. But then something horrendous happens. And you need to make the decision. Is now the time to stand up for yourself? Is now the time that you no longer get pushed over? That's what we're going to discuss in this video, because I want to share the 5 times you need to stand up for yourself, and one time you just need to shut your mouth. Welcome to the channel, Leadership with Mike. On this channel, I help you become a more confident leader, and I do that with no nonsense sense, if that makes any sense. Now, after you've watched this video, and if you feel you need more information, more lessons, more value, go in the description, because there's a lot more there for you. So when do you stand up for yourself? When do you put your foot down to say enough's enough? The first instance that I want you to make sure you're standing up for yourself is when someone's taking credit for your work. It is all too easy and all too common for you, the intelligent one, the one that knows what's happening at work, to have your work stolen, to have the credit taken. Now, before we get bent out of shape, I want you to do a few things. First of all, if somebody has taken credit for your work, without getting angry, I want you to ask them why they took credit for something that you did. If they push back or if they argue that it wasn't your idea, you can then ask them to explain how they came up with it, how they chose to use this framework, when it was that you shared the idea, when it was that you put the plan together. Usually, under most circumstances, somebody who has been called out, they may not say, "Oh, okay, you're right, John, I took your idea." But what they usually will do is next time they'll say, "Mike called me out on that one. I can't steal his idea again because I don't know how many more ideas I can steal from him before he loses it." He's not going to lose it. But you want to set the tone and let people know that we may not fix this situation where you took my glory, but I'll fix it next time. I'm going to call you out on it so that you understand I'm watching, I'm paying attention. The next time you need to stand up for yourself is when you have done excellent work and it's time for your annual review, which is tied to your annual raise, and you don't get the full amount. If you feel you've done everything the way it was supposed to be done, you've checked all the boxes, and you don't get the raise you feel you deserve, you need to stand up for yourself. Now, this doesn't mean that you're giving the boss a shakedown and you're trying to get coins to come out of their pocket. No, you want to stand up for yourself and ask why. You have that right. You have to make sure you're doing it in the right way. You can't demand answers, but you can ask questions. If you're not getting the answers that you want or the money you want, let's start negotiating. Okay, so I didn't get full pay raise because of X, Y, and Z. Would it be fair that in the next 3 months, if I was able to provide these results, whatever they may be, is it fair if we come and revisit this? Because I think I've earned the full amount, but I would love to prove to you that this is the work that I do and this is what I've done. It's not always going to work out, but what I also want you to consider is who's signing off? Because I've been in positions working with managers where I really want to respect their decision, but I don't believe that they're able to fairly evaluate people's work, the work ethic, contributions. I feel it was we're buddies, you're getting the full amount. We're not buddies, so I'm just going to give you what I feel. If that's the case, look and see if there is somebody else that you can discuss this with. Is there somebody higher up on the food chain who actually controls the wallet, where you can show why? You have to be able to show why you're worth more. You can't just show up to work and be like, "Yeah, I need more money." That's not the way the world works. You have to provide value. And if you believe you're providing value, stand up for yourself. The next time that you must stand up for yourself is if you're being bullied or harassed at work. Listen, I hate the idea of people bullying. More and more we hear or see on the news of people, unfortunately, taking their lives because of harassment, taking their lives because of bullying. This has become something that, it's giving me chills right now because I know I would talk smack at work. And it's possible that some people thought, Mike, you're a bully. It's definitely possible. But there's steps that we need to make sure that we take for ourselves if we are on the bullying end, if we're on the receiving end. The first thing is that you need to address it with this person. This does not need to be a full spectacle of everybody gather around the office because I have something to say. You need to talk to this person. It may be awkward, it may feel embarrassing, but you need to look after your own mental health. You need to be the one who advocates for yourself. So if you are being harassed, you're being bullied, take time, have a conversation. Try to have a conversation. Stay cool. Try not to be emotional. If you're comfortable, go into how it's affecting you. If you're not, asking this person to stop is enough to move to the next phase. The next phase is you have to know your rights, where you work, where you live. What are your human rights? What are violations of those rights? And how is it that your workplace is expected to deal with it? Now, here's the tricky part, because a lot of times in my experience, HR isn't there to protect you. HR is there to protect the company. So you need to make sure that if this is serious, and I assume it is, you've got the documentation. You've spoken to the person. You've followed the protocol in your employee handbook or whatever it might be, because sometimes, and it's hard even for me to say this or admit this, but sometimes when you come forward, you become the target. So I want you to make sure you're protected in terms of documentation. A lot of this will happen or be easier to deal with the sooner you start talking about it. The sooner you start confronting people that are talking to you or acting around you in a way that is unacceptable. And this isn't to be a prude, a Karen, whatever they're calling the male version, where you're just annoyed by everything and calling it. This is where we're being very serious about this. This is really bullying. This is really having an effect. It's not just somebody being a jerk every now and again. The next time you want to step up for yourself is when you know you're being taken advantage of. Listen, there are people that we can look at and we can say, you know what? I can ask more of that person because they never say no. And now it becomes, is it my problem as your supervisor, or is it your problem because you never say no? You need to stand up when you're being taken advantage of. Now, this again comes down to a conversation. If you can't take on the extra workload, yet you're always taking on the extra workload, that becomes a you problem. You need to address it. You need to share what you can handle and what you can't handle. You need to have solutions or bring options for how to do something differently that will allow you some more time. You may be taken advantage of because the boss likes somebody else better. Now, in my experience, that's part of work. Being able to schmooze the boss so that I do less it's just part of the game. But if you're the one that this extra work is being thrown onto day in and day out, you have to protect yourself. You have to stand up for yourself. Do not get taken advantage of. The next reason to stand, or the next time to stand up for yourself, is when you need to maintain your personal integrity. Managers, your boss, will tell you or ask you to do things because that's what they need done. And if something is against your being, you need to defend that. You need to stand up for that. Because it's ultimately, when we go home, it's our integrity that we need to keep intact. That's who we are. That's how we can define ourselves. And if we start bending our integrity to get the extra sale, to get this done, to manipulate somebody else or another company, or manipulate finances to get a raise to somebody else, these are things, I'm not going to make judgment, but they should affect how you feel. So stand up when your integrity, when your whole being is being put in a place or in a position where it's being compromised. You have to stand up for yourself and your beliefs. Now, when do you not want to stand up and be in your face with somebody? You do not want to stand up for yourself when you're angry and when you're emotional. Now, this isn't to say that you never bring it up, but when the blood is boiling, when you're on fire and you know there's a good chance you're going to say something that you can't take back, you're going to do something that you can't take back, that is the moment to chill out. That is the moment you step back and say, I need to breathe on this. I need to go home for the day. I need to mentally digest my feelings and the words that I want to say that I know I shouldn't say. This is the best time to just bring it down. Think about what could happen. Think about the message that ultimately you want to deliver and wait until you are able to do it from a calmer, more collected place. For the most part, we don't get solutions when we're emotional and angry and on the attack. When you're calm, cool, and collected, that's where you have the best opportunity to get the results that you really want. So now you know when to stand up for yourself. In this video, let's pay attention to see if you're working for a micromanager, or what could be worse is you're acting like a micromanager. Get your coffee. I'll see you in that video there. Ciao.